It's never happened before for the Rockies. Yes, as Nolan said, you'd love to have wrapped it up a couple of weeks ago. That's not the reality of Colorado, and it probably wasn't going to be the reality, as Jenny was talking about with Buddy, when you looked at this division going back to February.
No, but you're in a position right now to do something that you've never done in the history of the Colorado Rockies and try to win the division. I think the most important thing for the guys today is to stay in the moment, stay right with the pitch, the at-bat, the swing, whatever it is, because if you start to think it too big, things aren't going to work out for you.
Well, a story that developed after the ball game last night and got a great deal of attention last night and into this morning is that Max Scherzer, who it looked like was all of a sudden going to take the baseball on normal rest, is not going to pitch today. The three-time Cy Young Award winner. In fact, he's won the last two in the National League. He wasn't scheduled today. You'd have to skip Fetty, but he would have been again on normal rest. Mike Rizzo and company opted. They said, hey, both teams are in the playoffs. We're going to go with the former #1 pick out of UNLV, Eric Fetty, young pitcher against the former #1 for the Rockies, and Tyler Anderson, who is well rested.
Well, anytime you can miss a guy like Scherzer that has 159 career wins to go to Eric Fetty, who just has 2 major league wins, I think you are catching a break there. The kid was a #1 pick a few years ago. He's got a strong arm, but he's not Scherzer. But I think if the guys, you know, we were in the locker room before the game, they were looking at it going, okay, it's not Scherzer, but we still got to go out and do our thing today. And I think for Tyler Anderson, I think this is a pretty big moment for him. He gets a chance to compete in all of this and be a part of the club. And it's going to be 11 days since the last time he stepped out on a hill, and that was out in LA. Got hit pretty hard early on, did not give up any runs. He gave up a home run to Matt Kemp, but I thought this was a really, really nice start for Tyler. Also had 3 ground ball outs in this appearance against the Dodgers. He's been saying for a little bit now, for the last 3 or 4 days, anytime I talk to him, shoulder feels great, everything's good, so I don't think there's any limitations as far as health-wise goes.
And Buddy likes this line. I'll repeat this as well. Buddy's got a lot of great lines. Tyler Anderson is made of the right stuff. So Tyler Anderson today will have the baseball, and there's no place else the Rockies would like to play a game with this magnitude other than 20th and Blake. More on the home field advantage when we come back. Sportsnet is brought to you by Subaru. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. And by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. Another huge crowd at Coors Field. They were sold out Friday, sold out Saturday, and I imagine today will be a sellout. Game 162, the Rockies and the Nationals. Well, there's no place like playing it at home. The Rockies had a 7-game winning streak at home snapped yesterday, but they have become dominant once again after a sluggish start at home here in 2018. For more on that, we check in downstairs with Spilly.
There's a buzz. There's a buzz at Coors Field. There's been a buzz around Denver over the last week as this Rockies team has started to make a push for this division championship. Nobody imagines as a kid to go in their backyard and say, final game of the season, down by 30 games. No, you want to play for the division title. That's exactly what the Rockies are looking to do. And the reason why they have been playing so well at home, 35-14 over the last 49 games. That's the best in the National League. The runs per game are up. The OPS is up. The ERA is down. That's what the Rockies have been living on, is starters ERA. And when the team looks at playing at home, they look to their fans. Drew, you mentioned it. It's going to be a sellout tonight. There's going to be over 3 million fans that have come and watched the Rockies game over the 81 home games that they've had this season. That's top 7 in Major League Baseball, and the players appreciate it. I know we appreciate it when we see the fan support. We love it. The atmosphere today is going to be electric. I'm going to be in that scoreboard. We're going to be thanking fans. We're going to be thanking our production team throughout the game. It's going to be enjoyable. Back to you, Drew.
Well, as you well know, there's no place from a player standpoint you'd rather be than at 20th and Blake. The fans have been outstanding. It will be an electric atmosphere. And the most important game in quite some time. It's game 162. It's the Rockies. It's the Nationals. Come on back to Coors Field with us. It all began in Scottsdale, Arizona, 7+ months ago in February, ironing out the kinks and preparing for a season that promised elation and also the grind of 162 games. The Rockies, throughout it all, were on a mission. They had a singular focus on a division title. And now, as we arrive at the last regular season game in the latter part of September. It is all within their grasp. And with that, we welcome you to game 162. It's the Rockies at 90-71. The Nationals, they won last night, 82-79. They ensured themselves of their 7th consecutive plus 500 season. But this is what it's about. The Dodgers right now are in San Francisco taking on the Giants. The Rockies here taking on the Nationals. If the Rockies win and the Dodgers win, there will be a game tomorrow in LA at Dodger Stadium to decide the winner of the NL West. And if the Rockies win today and the Dodgers were to lose, the Rockies will be pouring champagne and beer about 3+ hours from now. It is that simple. And on the hill, the Las Vegas native Tyler Anderson making his 32nd start. And he is well rested because on Tuesday he was supposed to go, and after his last start his shoulder was a little bit tight. So the Rockies pushed him back. They nursed the shoulder. He's thrown some bullpen sessions, and as you have mentioned on a couple of occasions the last 24 hours, he feels great.
He feels really nice. His last couple starts have been good, just a 3 ERA. Hey, the Rockies Choose Go starting pitcher preview is brought to you by Conoco. And I just want to kind of highlight the cut fastball for Tyler, because the last 2 starts he's been using it a lot more, about 34% of the time, whereas previous 5s were below the 28, more around the 26%. So for Tyler, he was using it to neutralize the right-handed batter, so they weren't just leaning out over the plate looking for something away or staying on that changeup away.
Well, Helio, it would not be Rockies baseball in 2018 if I didn't begin a ball game by mentioning, at least halfway through the season forward, how things go here in the first inning are of great importance, because the Rockies have struggled so much, with the exception of Kyle Freeland, in that first inning. And Tyler Anderson has been one of those guys that things have not always gone well in the first frame. So get off to a good start, alleviate the nerves, etc. Here's the 21-year-old Victor Robles, and he hits the first pitch to center field for a knock. Let's take a look at the Southwest batting order for the Nationals. They are really swinging the bat. They have in the second half. They lead the National League in runs scored, in OPS, in a number of categories. And so far in this series, they have 31 hits after that knock by Robles. Turner, Harper, Rendon, Juan Soto, what a good-looking kid he is. Mark Reynolds, Adrian Sanchez, Spencer Keyboom. Word from San Francisco, not the word you wanted to hear. It's already 1-0 Los Angeles against Suarez.
Make it 2-0 now.
Well, listen, you know what? Honestly, going into the game, and I'm not just saying this, going into the game and being in the clubhouse today, there's full-on expectation, and there really has been all weekend, not to be dismissive of the Giants, that the Rockies felt like, oh, they got him picked off. Good throw, and they get him out at second base. So Anderson picks off Robles.
Huge and great call from Mike Redmond, who makes these determinations whether to throw over. Tyler quickened up his pace to first, and then the tag
just got him.
Yeah, right on the hip.
They're taking a look at it inside in the Nationals clubhouse.
But National says, go ahead.
Yeah, Dave Martinez says we're not going to contest that. Trey Turner at the plate.
But what
and he takes a strike.
But what was he going to say on that pickoff? Once Tyler saw him go, he quickened his pace to first, and then Desi got rid of it pretty quick, like a former shortstop would.
0-1 on Turner. And this is on the ground, and it's going to be a base hit. Now you got to hustle to the baseball the way Turner runs. So back-to-back singles, and that pickoff is huge. Just to finish the initial thought, the Rockies at their core in that clubhouse felt like the Dodgers were going to go into San Francisco and sweep. And yes, if you got help, wonderful. But the reality was you had destiny within your hands, controlled your own destiny. And now, same thing today. You control your own destiny. Yeah, you'd rather not go to Los Angeles tomorrow, and still a lot of baseball left to be played in San Francisco, but it's not a shock.
No, not at all. They expected to have to run the table.
Now you have the same situation with even with comparable speed, because Robles can fly and we know Trey Turner can fly. He leads the National League by 10 bags with 43 steals.
But to me, Turner has the experience of stealing more bases, so he's going to be able to read a little bit more.
Could be two. There's one and there's two.
Nice.
Well, 3 balls that were hit hard, 2 base hits, but you face the minimum. You'll take that. Two hits, it faces the minimum. I don't know if I've seen that before. That's okay.
That's all right.
Here we go with the Rockies offense. It'll be led, of course, by Charlie Blackmon. Here's the Southwest batting order. Very similar to what you've seen the last several days. DJ, David Dahl. Didn't homer yesterday, but he's still red hot. And then it's Nolan. He did homer yesterday. Story, Cargo homered yesterday. Ian Desmond, who has a home run in this series. Chris Iannetta, a home run in this series. And on the mound, not Max Scherzer, but Eric Fetty for the Washington Nationals. The #1 pick in 2014. And here's one of the interesting sidebar stories. He is from Las Vegas High School, went to UNLV, and of course Tyler Anderson. He went to the University of Oregon, but he's a Las Vegas native. First pitch from Fetty, down low, ball 1.
Well, in the month of September for Fetty, 18 innings, also has had 12 walks. A little bit of run on the arm side fastball for Fetty.
And that's a great start to the right field corner. And Harper has a long way to go to get to the baseball. Charlie stinking 3. He's going to get it easily. How about that start? They put their hitting shoes on early. Charlie always has them on. 7th triple of the year. The crowd is up and excited.
This is what the crowd wanted to do last night. When these guys were introduced today, they were on their feet. They were cheering. They want to be in the moment here today. And this is a good way to keep them involved early on with the rifle to right field. Charlie gives a glance over his shoulder. He knows that he can get to third. Doesn't even have to look to Stu Cole. And what a start.
Still don't understand their positioning. I'm glad they had it, because Charlie in the air pulls the baseball most of the time. And here's DJ. That's not what he wanted to do. Low throw. Well, that's unlike DJ.
That is so unlike him. First pitch to roll over on a ball like that.
Especially to pull the baseball like that. So 1 out. That'll bring up David Dahl. Here's the defensive alignment for the Nationals. I was discussing that. Bryce Harper had to take a train to get to that baseball. Robles is back in center field, and that pushes Harper to right. Bryce was in center field yesterday. He may be playing his final game in a Nationals uniform. Still a little bit in shock because DJ's always nails. And
well, if there's anybody you're thinking, well, he'll hit it the other way, it's going to be DJ to get that run in.
Now puts a lot of heat on David Dahl to have a productive at bat. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Well, he's just trying to increase his lead. He's got 24 RBIs here, does David, in the month of September.
3 on the right side. They're back. That's outside. Eric Fetty made his major league debut in Washington a year ago against the Rockies. Did not go well for Fetty.
Yeah, 4 innings of work, 10 hits, 7 earned runs. That was back on July 30th.
Rockies would sign up for that again right here.
Yes, they would.
Dahl patiently waiting.
He shook to a changeup.
Two and two. Fetty's average about a strikeout per inning pitched.
In his career, 58 strikeouts in his 61 major league innings.
He literally has 6 different pitches. He'll throw a splitter also. Good take by Dahl.
I mean, his fastball, he'll cut it, it'll sink, slider, changeup, curveball.
And a strikeout of Dahl. Now it's going to take a 2-out hit. That'll bring up Nolan. Nolan yesterday, a home run in the 6th inning against Steven Strasburg. Strasburg obviously pitched well. Gave up 2 runs, the home run to Nolan, the home run to Cargo. He's taken the whole way, it looked like, and it's on the outside corner for a strike.
Well, we kind of wanted to get a feel of Fetty's arm motion.
And the 0-1 inside. For a multitude of reasons, you want to get that first marker. The obvious ones, and also you got a young kid on the mound who's never pitched at Coors Field. And even though from a Washington perspective there's nothing on the line, he understands there's a lot on the line for the Rockies.
I think too for Fetty, he was a case when back on Thursday when we're kind of getting the lineups as far as the matchups here. His name was penciled in for Sunday, and then it was taken off, and then it was Scherzer, and then it wasn't. And you know, last night we find out about 10 o'clock after the game last night that Scherzer's not going today. It's going to be Fetty. So there's, you know, he's been on that yo-yo for the last 3 or 4 days.
2-1. Bends outside, 3-1. Well, you also find out, you know, internally what somebody's all about, because it's almost like, you know, a position player, they walk the guy in front of you to get to you. Well, he understands he's no Max Scherzer yet, so he gets that. But you know, you want to show your teammates and the rest of the baseball universe, okay, they thought they were catching a break getting me. This ball hit high in the air, deep left field. It is gone. 2-run home run. Nolan Arenado. Wow.
Big players step up in big moments.
And he's also tied the National League lead in home runs with his 36th. You know, the guys looked at the scoreboard, saw that LA went up 2-0. Nolan says, I got your 2 and I'll tie you up.
Now Fetty's not only fighting the 9 in the lineup of the Rockies, he's fighting 48,000 strong.
Backup slider on the Subaru Supermo. Nolan finally got a pitch to his liking. They'd gone away the whole at bat.
That was an enormous home run, and I don't think I can overstate that. The leadoff triple, as you see the home run race in the National League. The leadoff triple, awesome. And then literally a minute and a half later, you're saying, wow, they may strand Charlie at third.
But for Nolan, he came into the game with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. A lot of guys aren't able to handle that type of pressure, but he did. He'd come in with a .311 batting average during that time.
And also had to loosen up that dugout.
Yeah.
And I felt like the clubhouse today, we were in it for a while. I felt like they were pretty loose anyhow, but you know, that early blow, to your point, with the Giants falling behind early, this is in the air to Harper, and he'll make the catch. That'll end the inning. Triple by Blackman, and then Nolan takes a 3-1 slider and deposits it into the seats. 2-0 Colorado.
Scenarios today. With the win and a Dodgers loss, the Rockies will win a first division, and they'll also go to Atlanta for first round. They'll also, with a win or a loss by both the Rockies and the Dodgers today, will have a play-in game tomorrow, tiebreaker for the division. With the loss today and a Dodgers win in San Francisco, they'll have to travel to either Milwaukee or Chicago for the NL wildcard game on Tuesday. So obviously a lot of scenarios. We also asked Bud Black, how do you pack for this?
You pack for a week. Paul Egan's told us to pack for a week. Be ready for anything. And we're hoping to unpack.
There you go. Hoping to unpack, win today. Hopefully the Giants win today. And we got the first division title here in Colorado. Guys?
That would make for a wonderful afternoon. Anthony Rendon at the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike. Tyler Anderson gave up a couple hits in that first inning. It's a high quality swing. You don't want to miss where Tyler just missed with anybody, but especially Rendon. That was center cut.
He's such a good hitter. We've seen it ever since he came up. He always had a well-defined strike zone, but always one of those gritty type of hitters too.
Short and compact, that swing. 2-2. Just outside, 3-2. I noticed St. Louis, the quick jump on the Cubs at Wrigley, 2-0 there in the first inning. Milwaukee scoreless right now with Detroit. And a leadoff walk.
For the Win is brought to you by Pizza Ranch, and we're kind of bouncing around, so what it means to the players, stay in the moment. And I mean, bouncing around, we've already talked about the Dodgers and looking up and seeing St. Louis on the Cubs. You got to stay in the moment. It's easy to get caught up in the what ifs.
Got to win a ball game. It's the bottom line, and that's all that Nolan's focused on. That's all that Tyler Anderson's focused on. Yeah, they'll notice the scoreboard, but it's all about beating the Nationals here. That pitch is a little bit low to Juan Soto. Soto.
The other game too, I mean, we're going to keep an eye on is Atlanta and Philly.
And once again, that's because if you win the division, from the Rockies' perspective, Philly has a quick lead. It's outside, and you finish with the same record as Atlanta. You have the tiebreaker. So if the Rockies win the division, that divisional series will begin Thursday in Denver. We'll go over those scenarios.
Goes back to all the what ifs.
Yeah, but here's the biggest what if. You're facing a team that can really swing the bat in the Nationals. 1 on, 2-0. And good off-speed pitch there. 2-1.
I think Tyler has the temperament too. I think this is, you know, short of being able to go with your younger guys. Those guys can't pitch today because they're pitching on such short rest. You wouldn't want to do that to them. They've never done it before. Now, Tyler's in this moment. He gets it.
Well, I think, you know, I will just slightly disagree with you. I think that this was well thought out by Buddy Black. He had no issue bringing German Marquez back today on short rest. But after the victory yesterday in San Francisco by Los Angeles, and a high possibility, shall we say, that there's a game tomorrow in LA, he felt more comfortable going Anderson, regular rest, Marquez to play that divisional championship game Monday.
Yeah, I don't doubt that. I'm totally on board with that. What I'm saying though is I think Tyler, short of those guys, he's the guy that you want out there today, just because of his makeup.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. And, you know, there weren't a ton of other options other than once you made the decision that you're going to save Marquez for the possible game tomorrow. The only other option you would have had was really a bullpen day.
Yeah, and then if you would have come back short rest today with Marquez, then it just starts a domino effect with the rest of the pitching staff.
Yeah, those aren't easy decisions. 2-2 on Soto. Rendon at first, and that is down low. 3-2. Home plate umpire's a veteran, Hunter Wendelstedt, kind of in his blood. Dad was a major league umpire. Chris Caccioni's at first, Dave Rackley at second, Larry Vanover is at third base. Rendon, conservative lead, not going, and it's fouled off. One of the issues for Tyler when he has been off a little bit has been the walks.
I think too, the other issue that he has at times is when he kind of stands up in his motion, and that leaves the ball up in the zone.
Ball 4. And now you've walked 2 on. Anderson looking in, asking for clarification from Hunter Wendelstedt where that pitch was. That'll bring up a very dangerous man in Mark Reynolds. Here's the Red Robin defensive lineman for the Rockies, Cargo. You hope not, but we have to raise the specter that could it be his final game in a Rockies uniform at Coors Field. As I said, you hope not. DJ, same thing. He'll be a free agent at the end of the year. This is lifted playable in left field for Dahl. He's going to get behind it. Rendon bluffs, and they throw behind him. That's kind of interesting. David Dahl said, no, you're not going to fool me. I know you're not going anywhere.
Well, because of the way he threw out Bryce Harper last night. He wasn't going to challenge the arm. And I think David, part of it was maybe thrown behind, but I think it was more that if he does go, I want to make sure I keep the double play in order. See what he looks at right here. No, he's kind of looking at second the whole time. You're right, Drew. I think he was thinking, oh, you're going to get too far off there. I'll go ahead and throw it.
Now you got to be alert on the right side, because this kid at the plate, Adrian Sanchez, goes to right center very well. Spill, you had something to add?
Well, you guys were talking about David Dahl on that throw to second base. It was Ian Desmond screaming from as soon as that ball was hit right at David to throw it to second. It was nonstop 2-2-2. So the decision making was completely out of his hands and taken into the hands of Ian Desmond.
Let me ask you this. You have a ton of experience out there from 300 plus feet away with, you know, as large a crowd as it is. Could he hear it?
Oh, of course he can.
You can hear it? Okay.
Yeah, you can hear it loud too.
0-1 on Sanchez. This is key here with already one out. Now Rendon's not a flyer, but you have a lefty who is kind of unorthodox in how he goes to the plate out of the stretch. So you're concerned about the possibility of a steal with one out, especially after Reynolds flew out. That's a strike at the bottom of the zone.
That's where Tyler needs to work too, at the bottom of that Subaru strike zone. Gets more cut on the fastball, gets more sink on the four-seamer if he wants it. The changeup is working more down there. Once it starts to become middle of that Subaru strike zone, then it starts to flatten out.
Sanchez hitting .344 since being called back to the big leagues. And that's right back at Anderson, and the lob to first for another double play. So the Nationals had the first two men on. Not a problem. Anderson works out of it. Rockies up 2-0 on the Nolan bomb. Our city, Carlos Gonzalez coming up. The Rockies up 2-0. Time for At the Dish, brought to you by Dish Network. This is just a snippet of his expansive resume for the Rockies. Three-time All-Star, three-time Gold Glove winner, third in the 2010 National League MVP voting. I'll add this. He was voted the Player's Choice Major League Player of the Year. There's only one of those. That's from his peers. And, of course, he's top 3 or 4 on virtually every all-time list for the Rockies. Cargo takes inside from Eric Fetty. First pitch Cargo saw yesterday from Steven Strasburg after the disappointing beginning. The Rockies were down 5-0. Cargo hit it over the center field wall. He's in a good place offensively, and you can tell on that tape.
And that'll take us to our StatCast AI. It's powered by AWS. The home run to lead off that top of the second inning. 436 feet get the Rockies on the board. Trailing at the time 5-1. Cargo got a little life back into this yard last night.
Yeah, I mean, Spilly was down by the dugout yesterday, and yeah, obviously you fall behind 5-0 that early. That did get that group excited in that dugout. And I think if you could pull one word to describe the 2018 Rockies, it would be resilient.
Yes, they are.
That's inside, 3-1. Cargo has an extra base hit in 5 consecutive games. Desi waiting his turn. Gonzalez, Desmond, Ionetta, second inning. And Cargo on the ground to second. And Sanchez will throw him out. When the Rockies score 7 runs or more, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies Taco special. That would be a wonderful way to conclude the regular season. .22 home runs, 88 driven in by Desmond. He was on twice yesterday. A walk and a base hit for Desi. Friday night he had a huge 2-run home run. The Rockies were down 2-1 when he knocked it out of the ballpark. And the Rockies were on their way to a 5-2 Friday night victory.
For Desi, it's not about individual accomplishments, but he's just 2 RBIs away from 90, which is, when you look at the batting average and the way the year got off for him this year, that's going to be close to one of his career highs.
.91 is his career high, to your point, with the Nationals back in 2014. He had 24 home runs that year. Career high in home runs, 25 in 2012. This year is the 5th time in his career he's eclipsed the 20 home run mark. One thing that we've learned, and we noticed this from afar, but as we've gotten to know Desi particularly well the last couple of years, there's no guy that's mentally tougher than Ian.
Nope,
he's dealt with quite a bit of adversity his first couple of years in the Rockies uniform, but he's responded. And this is on the ground to short. Turner's got it. And that'll bring up Ionetta. Chris, part of the 4-homer brigade on Friday. He had the longest home run, 469 feet straight away. Yeah, he's upset with himself. He had a pitch to hit, and he got under it just a little bit. It's a 1-2-3 second inning. The Rockies leading 2-0 as we go to the 3rd. Is brought to you by the 2018 Toyota Tundra in your hometown Toyota stores. By Wells Fargo customers. Get your 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets by visiting wellsfargo.com/Rockies. And by Papa John's. Use code ROCKSWIN for 50% off pizzas at papajohns.com the next day. With Jeff Hewson and Ryan Spilborghs and our terrific AT Sportsnet crew, I'm Drew Goodman. Been a long journey for our crew as well, and a big tip of the cap to so many great folks behind the scenes who work diligently, literally almost around the clock, to bring you Rockies baseball starting in March. Spencer Keyboom is going to lead it off, the catcher, and he takes off-speed pitch a little bit high, ball 1.
Keyboom started on Friday, had a couple hits in that game, 2 for 3. So scored a run.
That's in there for a strike. Well, I think you know, Major League Baseball 4 years ago decided it was a great move, as you see the score, to have everybody, no matter where you were situated in the country, start at the same time. So you could play scoreboard, but it's not like, oh, that game's now in the 8th inning, and it's a blowout, you can adjust. But one thing's pretty clear, again, not that they expected really anything different from the Giants, who are depleted, but the Dodgers putting a hurting on San Francisco early, and so it just, you know, furthers your resolve that you have to get it done yourself here in Denver.
But
2-2.
Yeah, I like that they did it too. Dodgers did a couple things. One, they originally were going to have Walker Buehler start today and Rich Hill start tomorrow. They flip-flopped them to try to set up how they wanted to face the Rockies tomorrow, because they were assuming that the Rockies were going to win.
On the ground to Nolan. Got a catcher running, and he throws him out.
But then the second thing, Drew, how cool would it be to win your first division title, celebrate out in LA? That would be that would be the ultimate.
I think fans know this. I think they understand it, and I don't think I'm speaking out of school here. You know, you tip your cap again, use that phrase, to the Dodgers. They've won 5 straight division titles. They've won more baseball games than any other National League team since 2012. And with that comes appropriate confidence and maybe a slash of, you know, other terms one would use when a group is very confident, and sometimes that can rub people the wrong way. So yes, that's a long-winded yes to your suggestion. How sweet would it be?
I'm not saying
Rockies...
I wouldn't take it if somehow the Giants, you know, rallied and scored 10 this next inning, and then they go on to the W.
Absolutely.
And you're able to celebrate here. I'm not saying I wouldn't take that either. But if both teams win, and then you win tomorrow, that would be the ultimate.
2-1 on Eric Fetty. Andrew Suarez, the starter for the Giants, has already been removed. That's a strike. I'm not surprised that Dave Roberts and their front office decided on flipping Rich Hill to today and Walker Buehler, who right now is their best pitcher. Good job by Trevor. 2 outs, but they have the Hall of Famer in Clayton Kershaw, but right now their best pitcher, now it's 6-0, their best pitcher is Walker Buehler.
And he pitches well in that ballpark, like a lot of the Dodger pitchers do.
Well, if you can't pitch at Dodger Stadium or AT&T Park or Petco, you're probably going to be in the market for another type of employment. Victor Robles hit the first pitch he saw into center field for a base hit. And that's a strike. In the northwest part of the strike zone.
changeup from Tyler. Just fell right out of the bottom of the Subaru strike zone.
And things fell right for him in the first 2 innings, and now you hope that he can get locked in with his assortment of off-speed pitches, and, the cutter. 1-2 on Robles. Popped up, playable, foul ground. Desi's got it. Good inning again for Tyler Anderson. Middle of 3. The Rockies up 2-0 on the Arenado blast. Comments, your questions, use Twitter, include the hashtag #ToyotaTalk. Here we go, bottom of inning number 3. It'll be Anderson in the top of the order. Charlie Blackmon in the bottom of the first tripled to the right field corner, and then DJ grounded out. David Dahl struck out on a 3-2 pitch, and I was thinking, wow, you're not going to be able to score a run here without a 2-out hit. And guess who came through? Nolan Arenado drove one of the seats in left field. 2-0 Colorado. Anderson against Fetty. If you're wondering if they know each other well, I was not able to ask Tyler that today. I'll talk to starting pitchers on the day of the game, but he's 3 years older. Tyler's 3 years older than Fetty, so it's doubtful whether they played
they probably
with and against each
knew each other. They probably know some people that played with, he knows somebody that played with Eric, I'm sure.
There's a base hit to left field. Tyler helping out. There's a lot of Las Vegas connections because you have Fetty, you have Anderson, you have Bryce Harper. If you want to expand to Chicago, of course, you got Chris Bryant.
Right. Subaru Supermo off the end of the bat for Tyler. That'll be his 5th hit of the season. Take what they give you sometimes. You'll take that little bleeder to left field.
If you're a pitcher, you're going to take anything.
Except for if you're Herman. Only because, he's
used to raking.
Yeah. He's used a couple hits a game.
So leadoff man on and Anderson. Charlie at the plate. And now Harper's moved over. He's not close to the line, but he's a lot closer to the right field corner than he was in the first at bat. This ball is going to go off the wall or gone. It is gone. Halfway to a cycle, make it 4-0 Colorado. The big boys have showed up.
How is it each time we show the scoreboard, something great happens? First it was the scoreboard, then Nolan hits a home run. Scoreboard, Charlie hits a home run.
Victory lap number 29 this year for Charlie Blackmon.
This thing got out in a hurry, opened the hips up on the Subaru Supermo, and this was a line drive. You're just a little worried, was it going to get high enough off the top of that auxiliary scoreboard? Well, it went about the second row.
Beautiful thing is now Anderson doesn't have to run around the bases. He got to jog, and he's going to get some more time to rest because there's nobody out still with DJ at the plate. He took strike one. Triple for Charlie, 2-run bomb. Scoots to short, and Turner will throw out LeMahieu.
Well, the Subaru StatCast with Charlie's home run, and the distance it traveled, 397 feet, under 1.1 miles an hour, launch angle 24 degrees. And as I said, 397 feet.
Here's David Dahl. Ball, 1 strike on David.
Oh boy,
that's over.
Well, that means we showed the scoreboard. David's going to hit a home run. I think too, if you can continue to put on some runs early here and you get up, you know, Washington might pull off some of their guys.
Dahl struggling with Fetty. He struck out twice against him, 2 outs. And that'll bring up Nolan.
Fall is here and October is here too, and it's heating up. The Rockies dugout stores are your one-stop shop for all fall weather gear and the player merchandise. Check out any of the 5 area locations, Rockies dugout stores. Get your gear on, folks. Gear up. It's gonna be fun.
Here's another look at Nolan's shot in the first inning.
Saw by Spencer Keeboom where he set up, but where that pitch wasn't in the same spot, but Nolan made it pay.
And 2-0. This is line foul. So Nolan batting cleanup. Trevor Story batting behind him. Nolan, in case you forgot, plays third base. Trevor plays short. Both have 30-plus home runs, 100-plus RBIs. You know how many times the left side of the infield in the history of baseball had 2 guys that were 30 and 100?
One other time.
One other time. This could be interesting. Bare hand, and Turner does it nicely, and he throws him out. It happened with the Oakland A's back in 01 and 02, with Eric Chavez at third and Miguel Tejada at short. 2-run home run. Chuck Nasty, 4-0 Rockies.
favorite walk-off home run of the 2018 season? Was it Trevor Story against the Mariners? Was it Charlie Blackmon against the Astros? Was it Ryan McMahon pinch hit against the Dodgers? Or DJ with the big opposite field homer against the D-backs? You can vote at AT&T Sportsnet RM. We'll give you the results at the end of today's postgame show. I'm going to go with McMahon's homer off the Dodgers.
Easy, no-brainer for me, because Ryan did it against the Dodgers.
That's my choice too. They also because they were down 2-0.
You guys supposed to disagree with me.
You know
we
what?
disagree with you in every possible way most days.
Other than that one.
Vice versa.
No, that's a weak comeback. 1-0 on Turner, and it's 2-0 on Turner. Turner, Harper, Rendon, 4th inning. Fouled off out of play. So the Dodgers have scored 9 runs in 3 innings. They have 10 hits. The Giants have no runs on no hits.
Giants this month have not scored any runs at all. It's been pathetic.
Foul tip. They've scored 69 runs in September. Their franchise low for runs in a month is 93. They've done that number twice already this year, and they have 69 right now. I don't think they're going to score 24 more today, though. That would be nice. 2-2. And that's out of play. Milwaukee leads Detroit now 2-0.
Cubs are still losing to St. Louis.
On the ground to third. Tough play for Nolan. On the money. What a throw.
He's made 2 plays the last 2 days against Trey Turner. He had this one today, and then yesterday he had to make the spinorama to his glove side. Comes and gets it. You know, too, as an infielder, who can fly, who you can take an extra step on, all of that before the ball's hit. Nolan knows that Trey Turner can fly. Sidearm all the way on the Subaru Supermo, on the money. How about that, too? Gets him by a full stride.
Nolan hyper-focused for clear-cut reasons. Here's Harper. He swings and misses. Something else. Nolan's the ultimate competitor. On the other side, a guy he knows and respects a great deal is Anthony Rendon. Rendon, you know, competitor for that Gold Glove.
Yeah, he knows. Rendon just 6 errors on the year. He's going to get a ton of votes.
This ball's lined to left center field. It's going to be extra bases for Harper. So he has a 1-out double. Snaps a string of 6 straight retired by Anderson. Harper's now 2 for 4 in his career against Tyler, including a home run.
I've noticed in these games where he faces the lefty, he's thinking inside out type of swing. He really kept that right hip in on this swing.
When you just watch his path and his approach, and you think back to the first half where he was hitting below 220 for quite a while, you're saying, how can that be? It's just too good looking a swing.
Yeah. Well, I think he had gotten away from some mechanics, and also they weren't pitching to him. So when they don't pitch, if you're not patient enough, you'll start to swing at balls that are out of the zone. It's human nature to do that. And I think now he's just back to being Bryce again.
Cutter for a strike on Rendon. Rendon walked on a 3-2 pitch in the second, leading off. In fact, in the second inning, Rendon walked, Soto walked, but Anderson got out of it. Fly ball to left, and then a soft little liner back at him. And Tyler caught it and threw to first to double off Soto.
an eye on Harper. 13 of 16 stealing bases.
Two. Got him out on the front side. Popped up. Desi and LeMahieu. DJ calls off Ian. 2 outs. You know, with the high sky and the sun, that's an easier play angle-wise, isn't it, for the second baseman?
And I'm glad DJ took that, too. He's got the Oakley sunglasses on. Desi had the glove up. He's wearing the glasses, too. But the route that you take, the ball's off to the side, never really gets into the sun for a second baseman.
2 gone. Harper standing at second. Or in close proximity to the bag. Here's Soto. The air to fairly deep left center field. Charlie has a beat on it, and he makes the catch. There's been some wind involved also. That kept moving away from Charlie. Harper left at second. Anderson safely through the 4th inning. It's Colorado 4 and the Nationals nothing. Runs. Nolan Arenado in the first with Charlie Blackmon aboard. Charlie Blackmon with Tyler Anderson aboard in the 3rd. Bid on game-worn autographed Mariachis de Nuevo Mexico jerseys from top prospects Brendan Rodgers, Peter Lambert, Garrett Hampson, and Rockies legend Matt Holliday at MLBauctions.com/gallery. Trevor Story pulls it foul.
Heads up, Stu.
Story, a fly ball to right field, his first time up. Let's keep adding on.
That's right. And
that's lined to right. Harper's right there.
Twice today, Trevor's lined out over there. That one a little bit harder than the first time.
That'll bring up Cargo. Got himself in a favorable count. His first time up 3-1 and then hit a bouncer to second. The Nationals don't shift on Cargo. What they do, as many teams have done through the years, is they play their second baseman on the outfield grass. But if Cargo, hits the ball with some sting on it, as he does frequently to the right of Sanchez, he's going to run for a while.
Normally they would put the shortstop on the second base side. Not Dave Martinez and his staff. I think that works out to Cargo's favor because he hits a lot of balls that are ground balls that maybe might be towards the second base side, but the shortstop's usually there. And 36% on the Subaru StatCast spray chart.
That's why I'm surprised they haven't swung Turner over.
Cargo was a little angry with himself swinging at that second pitch.
Had to put himself in timeout. Walked away. A little conversation. The heck are you doing?
That's when you speak in the third person to yourself.
And all Reggie Jackson. 2-2.
The best of that was Ricky Henderson.
Yeah, Ricky
would always do it. But he'd always tell Ricky, no matter what happened, Ricky, you're the best.
Oftentimes Ricky was right.
Yeah, he was.
2-2. And this could be a problem. Slow roller. Cargo beat it. We saw that happen the other day. That's the one issue when you're playing way back on the outfield grass.
That's a ball that the shortstop would get if he was played on the shift on the second base side, because he could come and get that. It would be an underhander over to first. Instead, it's a knock for Cargo. Once it gets past Fetty, then you can sniff this. You're getting down the line as fast as your feet can pick him up and put him down. Even with the play out by Sanchez on the Subaru Supermo, he made that a lot closer than you thought it was going to be off the bat.
One out, one on. Here's Desmond. By the way, I asked Desi this morning, I said, you referenced to Strasburg when he'd come up and in, and it was a slider. He said that's twice now. And Strasburg, when Strasburg got a base hit later in the ball game, they had a little bit of a laugh, and he said it was a slider, but the reference to that's twice was back in Washington. Desi had turned a bunt, and there was a fastball that came, head high.
Oh, okay. See, I'm telling you, players have a long memory when they need it to be.
Two strikes on Desmond.
Not when they're asked to go to the store, but when they're thinking about somebody that threw at their head in April, they'll remember that.
He went 2 outs. That's the third strikeout for Eric Fetty. And it'll bring up Ionetta.
All 3 of the strikeouts on Fetty have been the swinging variety. 2 by David, and then that one by Ian.
Outside corner. Ionetta's got 11 home runs. He has 7 seasons in his career where he's got double-digit home runs. 4 of the 7 have come in a Rockies uniform. catchers with the most power the Rockies have ever had. Chris Iannetta and the baby bull, Willeen Rosario. I'm not leaving anybody out, am I?
I'm thinking Charles Johnson.
Oh, you know what? That's a good call, because obviously CJ had big pop. Outside. CJ had a couple 30 home run seasons. Back with the Marlins. Or close. I'm trying to remember. Did CJ go first overall in the draft? Out of Miami?
I don't remember that. I know it was real early.
Two one, 3-1. Fetty's being careful with Iannetta. He's got Anderson on deck. Of course, Anderson has a hit against him.
Hit against him, so be too careful.
Chris got one on the barrel his first time up. Hit the ball to deep center. Just missed it. Breaking ball for a strike. 3-2. I was way off. Charles was a first-round pick. I knew that, but he went 28th overall. Close to being number one. Except they called 27 guys before.
But he's still a first-rounder.
Oh, yeah.
That's what you were thinking, right? We'll go with that.
Yeah, thanks for the pick-me-up. Ball four. So now 2 on for Anderson.
No matter what happens, at least you're going to flip the lineup. We say that because it is very important.
First walk issued by Fetty.
Well, you can still get it, folks. MLB at Bat. It's your #1 Rockies app. You can customize your experience to catch every moment that's still happening out here. Get Rockies home screen icons, features such as the MLB.TV Game of the Day, pitch tracking, and game highlights, stats, news, and more. Download MLB at Bat today.
Outside. Anderson's got a flashback to July the 9th, 2016 right now.
Lone career home run.
Lone career home run. Actually, how about a line drive to right center field? How about a bloop to right center or a comeback? That'll end the inning. The Rockies got a base hit and a walk. 2 men left. We'll go to the 5th. Colorado leading 4-0 over Washington.
There's Jason getting ready. Here's Woody getting the RoboCam behind home plate. There's Lou carrying a bunch of audio stuff. He's the best in the business. There's Crash. That's really his name. There's some of our utilities. There's Alyssa. The rest of the group. We have so many great people working for every single show. Right now I'm in center field on Brian Peters' camera. I have to give a shout out to everybody. Hello. Here's our list.
Are you on
We
Brian
got
Peters'
Yuli
camera?
behind doing audio? Lou, John Mickety, Brian Little, Chris Irving, Steve Brown, Chris Sellers, Bo on the first base side, Sam, Brian Peters, Crash, Roger, Alex, Krista, Javi, yes you, Javi, Andy, Nick, Jason, John, Woody, Doug Marino, throwing notes at people, Joel Myers, can't believe I just said Joel's name, Mike Shano, Gavin, Colton, Adam, Alyssa, Dale, and then we got the guys on the visiting team side. Big Tim, he's 6'7", he doesn't like anybody that's short. Doug, Danny, Mike Rotolo, Stephen Ford, James, John, Ringo. Just a group of people, and obviously we still miss, and we'll always think about Rowan Hamilton. Guys?
Spilly, well done.
Thank you, Spilly. Thank you for all our hard-working crew that work literally behind the cameras, behind the scenes. And now you're going to run camera for Brian Peters for a while.
He can run that all he wants, but I'm sure Mike Fox will never ask to have that camera taken.
Well,
So
I have it right now.
Yeah, but nobody's seeing you. We're just seeing you shoot it. We're not using anything that you're actually.
I
That's
can-
Spilly's shot. That's pretty good.
This is my
Spilly.
shot right here.
Hold
Great
it still.
focus.
See?
Don't
How good is that?
Don't
Let's-
switch pan it.
Let's zoom in just a little bit so it doesn't feel like we're in the next county.
Yeah, let's give him some responsibility. I want you to push to Buddy Black after this pitch.
How's that?
That's good.
That's inside. 2-1 on Mark Reynolds. Push to Buddy Black here. Get a shot at Buddy.
You know Mark Reynolds? Here you go.
No, that
Mark Reynolds.
Yeah, see, Buddy Black. That would be Mark Reynolds. We're having a
Hey, you know
failure
what?
to
That close
communicate.
enough?
That's a strike. 2-2.
Let's give that camera back just in case we might need that shot for a replay.
Dude, I'm coming with it.
Swung on and missed. A strikeout of Reynolds. That's the first strikeout of the afternoon for Anderson. That'll bring up Adrian Sanchez.
By the way, since we're talking about how great this production crew is, the call for the guys to be here this morning was 7 a.m. Drew, what time did you get to the field?
7:15.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. What time did you get here, dog? You
10:45.
Yeah, careful, man. I beat you today.
These
That's
guys
hard
do
to
that
do.
every single day. Every day these guys are here well before the players, well before the grounds crew. They are getting this stuff ready so we can show a great program at home, which we appreciate.
Yeah, we've said this many times through the years, and this is not hyperbole. I think it has to do with we live in such a beautiful place, but there are so many people that are among the tops in their craft. This is line to center field. Charlie's got that, baby. But literally, they are recognized as at the top of their respective field, and many folks work nationally as well, and we have the benefit of working with them on a day-to-day basis. So.
Yeah, it's amazing working with a different team. I think that's the aspect that as a baseball player, Huey can talk about it too. Our team has changed since we've moved on to broadcasting, but it still feels the same way. We're all in it together. We love putting on a good program. And the people that are around here, they become your family. And so from all of us and for the people that bring us into your home every night, thank you again.
Well said, brother.
Spencer Keyboom. He grounded to Nolan. His first time up. 2 outs, nobody on. It's now 12-0 Los Angeles. And the Cubs have taken a 3-2 lead. They were down 2-0. That's a strike, 1-1.
All
One last
business
shout out.
this
One
inning.
last shout
Okay,
out.
one last. Go ahead, brother.
Master Control, thank you for pushing all the right stuff. I don't know what you guys do besides you guys are Master Control and you're in charge of everything and running commercials. I appreciate it.
They're masters of what they control, Spilly. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Anthony Rizzo, a big hit for the Cubs a moment ago. Downstairs. 2-2. Rockies have spent 32 days this year in first place. The Dodgers have spent 40 days in first place. And the Arizona Diamondbacks, who will pack up and go on vacation at the conclusion of this afternoon, they spent 125 days in first, but they had a tough September. This could be caught potentially. Yeah! What a play by Desmond. And that's all for the Nationals in the 5th. Venturing where few first basemen go. How about a refreshing beginning? A triple to start the afternoon for Charlie. He would score on the Nolan 2-run homer, and then Charlie would hit a 2-run home run of his own. So he's had a splendid day. A little disappointed right now. He's not going to see Eric Fetty for a 3rd time because Fetty's been removed after 64 pitches. And the new pitcher is left-hander Tim Collins. So if the Rockies ahead 4-0 as they embark on their at-bat here in the bottom of the 5th inning, it'll be the 38th appearance for Collins.
I think, too, is a case to get Fetty out of there. He'd only pitched 3 1/3 in his last start. You only go 64. Don't try to stretch it out so much today as he heads to the offseason. And you can kind of just filter guys in the rest of the game.
And that's why it brings us back to the, the story of the day, at least in some people's minds, where the Nationals announced last night, once the Dodgers had clinched a postseason spot, that they weren't going to expose Max Scherzer because their original intent was he wanted to get to 300 strikeouts. And Spilly, I know, I heard Spilly this morning on MLB radio talking about this. Mentally, and you guys can relate to this, I don't want to say you check out, but you kind of shut it down. And he had, it's a strike, he had an emergency side session, if you will, before they departed on Thursday for Denver.
You do check out a little bit. I mean, it's
and there, Mike Rizzo's responsibility is to the Nationals and Scherzer. And listen, for those saying Scherzer should have thrown, he was going to throw if the Dodgers hadn't clinched yesterday.
Yeah,
both teams are in the postseason. He threw more pitches than any other pitcher in Major League Baseball this year. He doesn't know anybody anything.
Not at all. And my point was going to be, with both teams already in, it's not his responsibility then to determine maybe who becomes division champs. Let that play out on the field.
This is rolled to the middle of the diamond, and that's a wide throw by Sanchez. Probably goes a leg hit, I'm sure, for Blackman. It is a base hit. And now Charlie's a double shy of the cycle. That'd be a nice way to end 2018's regular season.
We started off with the triple, the home run, now the leg single. As the shortstop second baseman Sanchez comes circling around. They tried to make the throw on the run, didn't start it up the outfield side enough, goes off the glove, almost hits Charlie on the Subaru Supermo, and Charlie had to kind of avoid all the collision there.
DJ 0 for 2. And he takes a strike.
And I know there was some whining out on the West Coast area. I won't say who was doing the whining about Scherzer not pitching today.
Well, here's what I would say overall.
That team knows who I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, but here's the deal. You've heard me pontificate on this before. You play 162 games. So right now, every club's played 161, right? You are what your record says you are. You could play the woulda, coulda, shoulda. Had this team done that, had we not done this, guess what? The Rockies are 90 and 71. The Dodgers are 90 and 71. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, at the end of the day, they both could be 91 and 71. Okay, 163. Here you come.
A one on DJ, line to center field, base hit. So the Charlie DJ brotherhood is aboard for David Dahl.
DJ went down and got that one and just hit a low scorcher out to center.
David Dahl hitting a cool 308 his last 21 games, but that just tells part of the story. He's got an OPS of 1,025. David hitting just 222 against lefties, and that I think you're going to see, especially next year. He starts from April 1st or thereabouts. Season start, I'm sure, in the latter part of March, and he is getting 550 at bats.
Yeah,
those numbers left on left will rise.
Well, his swing is too good not for it to rise.
He hold up, checking it out. No swing, 1-1.
A good hitter like David, you come up through the minor leagues, you hit everybody. It doesn't matter, left, right, submarine, over the top, 3/4, low 3/4. Well, that's not to say that the left-handers in the big leagues they're better than what you face out in the minor leagues, but it's not like you're scared of.
93 on the left side, beat him there, 1-2. Really, it's a key inning again. You have 2 on, nobody out. You're in the right part of the lineup, so to speak. Expand that lead to the point you made earlier. Give Dave Martinez every reason to, to get the Harpers and company off the field, early. Down the line, and it spun foul.
And I think Dave would do that too. They scored the 2 in the first. Maybe it's the odd innings they need to score, because they scored in the first, scored in the third, and now here's in the 5th. This is a really hard game for the teams that have nothing to play for the very last day, because you're thinking, I don't want to get hurt, and let's just get this over with, because it hasn't gone the way we want it to, especially a team like Washington.
Well, that brings us again, not to belabor the issue with Scherzer. Well, let's say Scherzer did go out and pitch today, and all of a sudden he tweaked something. Now he's spending the first part of his offseason, instead of relaxing then training, he's rehabbing.
Which is the worst. because you never feel like, you always feel like you're, you know, one step behind.
In the air, deep left field. Did he do it again? Taco. Yes, indeed. 3-run, opposite field, home run, David Dahl. 7-0 Colorado. He missed his date with a home run yesterday. He's starting a new streak.
So it's now 6 out of the last 7 games with a home run. He goes Oppo Tacos to get us to tacos tomorrow. He creates such backspin on the baseball. But that's just a natural gift. I said it. The odd innings you scored.
Well, Collins is going to walk off. The Rockies have a 7-0 lead. Do not forget to go to your participating Taco Bell location tomorrow between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies Taco Special at Boston Taco Bell. You didn't think that's offense in the final regular season home game of the year wasn't going to take care of you.
No.
Jimmy Cordero's now in. Nolan at the plate. He started it out with the 2-run home run in the first. The Rockies have now launched 16 home runs as you look at Cordero's worksheet. 16 home runs, Huey, in their last 5 games. That is by far their best stretch of muscle baseball this year.
And when they needed it too. Yeah, we said it as we were playing that game, going into that game on Friday down in Arizona after the sweep in LA. What'd they have to go? Minimum 8-2, probably 9-1. If they could run the table at 10-0, that'd definitely get them in. And they start pounding the baseball.
Eric Fetty, by the way, 4 innings, 4 runs, 5 hits, a walk, 3 strikeouts. Tim Collins faced 3 hitters, 3 hits, 3 runs. 2-1 on Nolan. Dodgers playing football with the Giants. It's 14-0. I'm not doing that score anymore.
No, done with that one. Philly's still up on Atlanta.
Philly's still up on Atlanta. Isn't that interesting? 2-1. The Cubs leading St. Louis 4-2 now, 4 unanswered. Milwaukee's extended their lead to 3-0 at Miller Park against the Tigers. We've not had a lot of bite this year. I'm sorry.
That was, I don't even know where to go with that.
Bad. It was bad.
It was really bad, other than to say that Milwaukee will have a very short bus ride down to Chicago to play that one-game playoff. And they play early tomorrow, so it will be like a doubleheader of baseball tomorrow. Dougie's over here going, oh, I can't wait.
Nolan got a
I can't wait either.
good swing off. Yeah, it's going to be tremendous. And the game, if everything holds, which you like the chances of that in both cities right now. 14-0 LA, 7-0 Colorado. That game at Dodger Stadium tomorrow will be at 3 Mountain.
No.
Did I do that wrong?
2 Mountain.
2 Mountain.
Yes. 2 Mountain time.
2 Mountain.
And again, folks, just to reiterate, unfortunately, even though it's a game 163, after today's game, we're not able to cover it. It goes to national. I'd love to say we can do it, but we can't.
Yeah, we get to be like all of you. We get to spectate. With our purple pom-poms. This is live, but right at Rendon. 1 out. 1 out. Trevor Story coming up. Time to check the Subaru StatCast on the home run hit by David Dahl.
Well, he's hit 3 on this homestand to left field. This one a little bit further than the other ones. This is 373 feet. The other 2 he hit the opposite way. One was 351. The other one was 359. But you know what it says? It says 3 home runs. It doesn't say how far. You win Oppo. Yeah, it will say that. But now for David, 16 big flies.
1-0 on Story. 2 line outs to right field. Bryce Harper. I wish he had hit that ball like 10 feet further, because then it would have been, I believe it's like a $10,000 donation to UC Health if he landed on that glove out there.
Hit the charity minute.
Yeah. See? Hit the charity glove for our friends at UC Health. Misses. 2-1. It's wild, this run of home runs hit by the Rockies. 16 over 5 games. Way inside.
It almost didn't make the Subaru strike zone. That far inside.
Remember on the road trip, but again, you're playing in difficult parks to hit home runs, especially AT&T and Dodger Stadium. Rockies hit 1 home run on that 9-game road trip, and they played great in Arizona. Arizona, you hit home runs, right?
Yeah.
They swept the Diamondbacks. Didn't hit any home runs there though. It's just that Blackmon home run against Kershaw in LA. This ball is hit a long way foul. We haven't mentioned Trevor's elbow in a few days, which is a wonderful thing, right? For the scare that was.
No. I mean, people were writing that he was going to have Tommy John surgery. He was going to be out. I mean, it was
a little premature with that.
It was just a little bit. Yeah. Maybe they weren't saying he was going to have Tommy John, but it was, some damage to that UCLA, so you automatically take it there. Let's find out the facts first.
Downstairs, Trevor with 1 out goes to first, and that'll bring up Cargo. You have 9-1 and 2 next inning in the 6th for the Nationals, and then I wouldn't be surprised if Dave Martinez, unless they somehow put a rally together, starts pulling guys like Rendon and Harper off the field. So again, the same reason as Scherzer, you want them going into the offseason healthy. Obviously, with Bryce Harper, they want him back in Washington. Where he ends up, anybody's guess. One thing about Harper, did you hear when he was interviewed the other day after his last game in D.C.? A reporter had mentioned something about, a fan had put up a huge sign that said, 8 years and come on back, Bryce. And Bryce was, we like Bryce. He's a very personable guy, and he's also, he's also been very honest. That was a clown question, my friend.
Clown question, bro.
Yeah, I thought that was funny, because we see those. We've probably asked a few ourselves, but you know what? He said, he goes, 8 years, maybe a little short. Trevor takes off, throws, not going to get it.
27 stolen bases for Trev. A little higher leg kick. Strong throw. It was just a good jump. Trevor outran the baseball. Notice how he angled his body too on the Subaru Supermo to go to the very outside, make it more difficult for the shortstop to try to apply the tag. That was a good look there.
Ribby out there for Cargo. Infield hit his last time up. 1-1 from Jimmy Cordero.
Those two pitches, number 1 and number 2 on the Subaru strike zone, those tell you those are 98 to 100 miles an hour. The last pitch was 99.
Yeah, if it's red, is it 100 red or 99?
Sometimes they'll put even at 99, which is close enough to 100 to put it in red.
It's really fast. Soto in left to make the catch. 2 outs. That'll bring up Ian Desmond, who, like Trevor Story, is a 20-20 man. 20+ home runs, 20+ stolen bases. There's only one other team in Major League Baseball that can make that claim. That's the winners of the American League Central, again, the Cleveland Indians. It's their middle infield.
Yeah, there are just 8 guys this year that are 2020 guys.
Actually, it's their left side, right?
Left side.
Yeah, it's Lindor and Jose Ramirez. Ramirez will play second also, but those two are 2020 guys. Ramirez will be heavy in that MVP conversation in the American League. 1-0 on Desi. Ball and a strike. This is tapped slowly. Rendon comes up with it, and he'll throw out Desmond. In the inning, the Rockies add 3. Hit by Blackman, hit by LeMahieu, big hit by Dahl. 7-0 Colorado. To the 6th we go. Let's check our Built for Baseball, brought to you by T-Mobile. How about DJ LeMahieu and all he has done in a Rockies uniform? A couple times an All-Star, won a batting title 2 years ago, a couple Gold Gloves, may pick off his third this year. I think he ought to. He's played more games at second base than anybody in club history. And among second basemen, he has the third highest fielding percentage ever. He is a championship caliber player. And the notable free agents for the Rockies, DJ Cargo, Gerardo Parra, and Adam Ottavino.
All of them glue guys. Yeah, for DJ, just 4 errors this season. That's why I agree with you, Drew, that he's going to win a Gold Glove.
Something's going on. Tyler Anderson is throwing 5 shutout innings. He threw his warm-ups, and now slowly Scotty Garrett and Buddy Black making their way out to talk to Tyler. He's pointing to somewhere in his back.
But where he pointed on Scotty's back looked more of the mid to lower, or mid back, excuse me, not up something by the arm.
We know Tyler. Tyler's a tough guy.
I think he's just trying to say, I'm fine. Let him throw a couple pitches, see where these go and how he feels.
If you want to give a thumbs up. Here's something else to keep track of. If the Rockies, continue to shut down Washington and maybe even expand their lead beyond this, they have to have the game. We all understand that. But if you can somehow stay away from, Oberg and Ottavino and Davis, that'd be huge going into tomorrow.
Well, because not only tomorrow, but if things didn't go the way you wanted them tomorrow, then you got to turn around and media play on Tuesday, and then you don't win that one, you're coming home. You're done.
Michael Taylor, the pinch hitter for Cordero. One and one. It's been overshadowed so far by the long balls. Tyler Anderson dealt with some traffic in the first and second, but he's given Buddy Black and his teammates everything they could have wanted.
Well, not only just the 3 hits given up as we head to the 6th inning, no runs. He's had 7 ground ball outs, 6 fly outs, just 1 strikeout today, but he's after the first couple innings, I think he finally found his release point with everything.
Huey said he's given up 3 hits. The first 2 hitters
that's right.
had hits on the first 2 pitches. And he gets a strikeout of Taylor.
That, if there's anything wrong with the back, the hard pitch would be the changeup, because you really have to extend and reach and turn your hand over, and didn't look like it was anything, because that last pitch was a changeup. Straight out of the hand on the Subaru Supermo. You have to get extension to get that ball down, and he did.
Victor Robles single, and he fouled out to Desmond. Another changeup. I guess he's got the feel for it now, right?
He's found the changeup. Both of those nip in the corners on the Subaru strike zone.
Two strikes on Victor Robles.
It's another foul ball, just like the other night.
No, they're saying he got hit.
Remember the other night it went right off the knob?
They're gonna have to check that again. Watch the knob.
I think it went off the knob and then his fingers. No, you know what? That wouldn't be hard to overturn.
I don't think the Rockies are going to challenge that one.
Yeah, because originally I thought it was foul ball, and then the next time I looked at it, I thought it was a foul ball. Then it hit his hand. But they're going to look at it.
Oh, they are. Okay.
Well, with the trainer going out, it gave Brian Jones an extra opportunity to take a peek at that.
Now they're saying, did he swing at it? I mean, that may be what they're
talking
about right now.
Maybe they might be saying you waited too long to challenge this. But the play, you had the trainer at first base.
Well, he didn't swing. That's pretty clear.
But from that angle, it does look like it hits the bat first. This is hard to tell on this angle on the Subaru Supermo. That angle kind of makes me think it went off the wrist first. Now here's your mic'd up point, Drew.
Yeah, well, they're not looking at it, and whatever Larry Vanover, the crew chief, Buddy, talked about, we'll find out much later. Hopefully it's a mere footnote in the summary of this ball game. One out, one on. Trey Turner to third. Nolan's got it. There's one. There's two. Who cares?
There's your footnote.
Yeah. Could care less what they talked about. Tyler Anderson, shutout baseball through 6 frames. 7-0 Colorado. On AT Sportsnet is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. All smiles the other night when the Rockies clinched a playoff spot. And they're moving closer to a showdown in Los Angeles tomorrow for the division title. Tyler Anderson, 7-0 Colorado, and he's thrown 6 shutout innings. Is Buddy Black. We have a left-handed conversation here. Chris Iannetta will face Austin Voth in the bottom of the 6th inning. Young man making his 4th major league appearance. Originally out of the University of Washington. Friday night starter for UW in the Pac-12. He has 1 appearance out of the pen, 2 starts.
And fastball, slider, curve for Voth. 92 on average with the fastball. Comes out of the pin. First pitch he throws is a slider.
One ball, one strike on Iannetta. Chris, a fly ball to center and a walk.
Tyler trying to stretch that back. He has just 69 pitches. Here's what you hope is Chris gets on and he could bunt.
Three and one. Coming into the ball game, the last 11 games for the Rockies, the starters had fashioned a .229 ERA. That will improve with the performance today of Tyler Anderson, and just as you had hoped, Tyler will come up with Iannetta at first base. We go downstairs to Spilly.
Actually in the scoreboard right now, and it is awesome. Today's the hardest working day for the ladies back here that are changing all the numbers between the pitching, the innings, and the scores. And obviously we all love this because for one major purpose in Major League Baseball, everybody starting at the same time has a certain feel to it. You cannot stop and help but watch the scoreboard. I'm watching Bryce Harper take a peek over his left shoulder after every single pitch. Obviously you got the Milwaukee Brewers, you got the Cubs, you got so much going on and at stake, and I'm still hoping for a Giants comeback. We need at least 15 runs today, guys.
And then they got to go for the 2-point conversion. I don't think they're going to play for the tie.
The Giants come back and win that game. ...
Yeah.
One score that I noticed on the far right of the auxiliary scoreboard is Tampa in the 6th inning leading Toronto 5-3. And you're saying, why on earth does that stand out to you? Here's why. Good bunt attempt. Anderson does his job. To second base goes Iannetta with Blackman coming up. Tampa's been overshadowed, as they always are, in the American League East by Boston and the Yankees. And the Yankees won their 100th the other day, or yesterday. Tampa, if they hold on and win for Kevin Cash, that'll be their 90th win of the year. How many people in baseball or casual fans realize that Tampa will win 90 games this year? And then you start thinking, well, who's the American League Manager of the Year? You know, Alex Cora's a young manager, rookie manager. He's done a great job, clearly, a lot of talent. Bob Melvin out of nowhere. Oakland's had a ridiculously great year. And then Kevin Cash in Tampa.
But I think Cash is probably, if I had to vote, I would say Melvin, Cash, Cora.
I think I would go that way also.
Just payroll-wise and what you're expecting. I really thought what you were going to do when you were talking about Tampa Bay and Toronto, saying, well, this is John Gibbons' last day managing Toronto, that today Russell Martin was going to be the manager for Toronto. That's where I thought you were going with that one.
And Russell's got to pick it up. They're down 5-3. Right now, Charlie's at the plate. He's a double shy of the cycle. Triple in the first, 2-run home run in the third, a leg hit in the 5th.
Everybody has already let Charlie know, if he didn't already know it, that you're going to go. You get a chance to try to stretch it, go for it. They got a pitch to him first.
2-0. Charlie came into today tied for the National League lead in runs. He led last year. Tied with Christian Yelich at 116 apiece. Charlie has scored 3 times today. 3 at bats, 3 runs scored. Yelich has scored 1 for Milwaukee. They're up 3-0. 2-1. Love all the housekeeping you get to do on the final Sunday of the regular season. Nolan's tied for the home run lead with his 36th earlier. That takes you back to the 70s where the league leaders were in the mid-30s. You hit 30, it was a ton of home runs.
I think over 20 you were the big power guy.
Borderline pitch. Charlie didn't much like it. 2-2.
I thought it was off the Subaru strike zone, that pitch 4.
I remember when George Foster hit 50 when I was a kid. I was like, what? 50?
He'd still get the what today with 50.
No double in this at bat. 2 outs, and that'll bring up LeMahieu. Where are you putting that 6?
It's
Do you
a
know?
9. Apparently it's a 9. This looks like a 9. Isn't a 6 an upside down 9 and a 9's an upside down 6? We're putting this one on a very important game to pay attention to. This will be a surprise.
We're on the edge of our seat.
Can't wait.
DJ, a base hit in the 5th inning. He's 1 for 3.
Oh my.
I see a 7 going up in the White Sox-Minnesota game, which I don't know how much appeal that has to people here.
Cubs over the Cardinals.
6-2 Cubs over Cardinals. Wow. And Milwaukee looks like. How about this? Monday, you could have 2 more games, regular, quote unquote, regular season games to determine
Regular stats.
division leaders. It's only happened 6 times now since 1969 when baseball went to divisional play, that on the last day of the regular season there were 2 teams with identical records in the same division. Only 4 times before today, and now this year 2. The Rockies and Dodgers, the Brewers and Cubs.
You play 162 games to get there, and you have to play 1 more.
Well, here, count the other times on last day of the season. Braves won in '93. Dodgers won both times against the Padres. You know the Phillies won in '07. DJ in the air to right center field. I don't know if yeah, Bryce sees it. At first I wasn't so sure. He makes the catch, and that'll end the inning. We'll go to the 7th. The Rockies leading 7-0. Pitching performance. Tyler Anderson. He had to be pushed back after a sore shoulder earlier in the week. He said he was healthy. He's pitched like he's healthy. 6 shutout innings. He's limited the Nationals and that lineup that produced 30 hits between Friday and Saturday to just 3 this afternoon. All on just 69 pitches.
47 strikes for Tyler.
And in the 7th, it'll be Bryce Harper, Anthony Rendon, and Juan Soto. Harper doubled to left center field his last time up. This is Vegas native on Vegas native. Ball 1. Two now. Two and one on Harper. More than 100 runs, more than 100 ribbies, more than 100 walks.
The 100 walks that Harper has, and you got the 300 strikeout pitcher and Scherzer and 140 steal guy and Turner. Pretty rare combo to have 3 guys like that on the team.
And Bryce dropped his bat. He's got to pick it up again. 3 and 2. Tell you what a great moment in Washington at the All-Star game when with his dad pitching to him, he won the home run derby.
Yeah.
That was cool stuff.
Yeah, I was rooting for him just because of that.
Sure thing. Strike 3 on Harper. He drops the bat again, and he left his equipment there. He thought it was ball 4. As he didn't hear Hunter Wendelstedt. Maybe his final AB in Nats uniform.
They thought he had the walk on 3-1, and now on 3-2. Chris holds it. Hunter says strike 3. First out of the 7th inning. He didn't realize it until Chris threw the ball down. Said, you called that a strike?
Rendon takes a strike. I don't know if Spilly did it, but the Cubs now lead 8-2 over the Cardinals. And Milwaukee now leads 4-0 at home over Detroit. So it looks like they'll have a showdown tomorrow at Wrigley, like the Rockies will have a showdown at Dodger Stadium. Swung on and missed. Another strikeout. Boy, Anderson has gotten locked in.
You say you needed somebody to put down one of these type of performances. Well, Tyler's doing it, coming back after missing the past 11 days. Last pitch back on the 19th out in LA. In that game, it was 6 innings through 91 pitches. Here he has 79 in 6 2/3.
Soto takes a strike. And another strike. Keep in mind also, I said at the top of the inning, Huey, he's only got 81 pitches. Right now, he's going to roll out for the 8th, you would think.
For
There's
sure.
no reason to bring anybody else in. 0-2. Really painted there. Just missed. 1-2.
Looked like he dropped down a little bit too. You might see that quick pitch delivery here from Tyler.
On the ground is second. DJ's got it. What a performance so far by Tyler Anderson. Stepping up big time. 7 shutout innings. Speaking of 7, the Rockies up 7-0. As we stick around on this final Sunday of the regular season for a rendition of God Bless America. Beautiful day at Coors Field. Enjoy, everybody.
Fair. With us on the field today is Lieutenant Colonel Aaron Hasse. Lieutenant Colonel Hasse has served with the United States Air Force since 2004. He is currently assigned to Shriver Air Force Base in Colorado Springs with the Air Force Judge Advocate General Corps. Joining Lieutenant Colonel Hasse on the field is his wife, Hope. Furniture Row and Denver Mattress are proud to present Lieutenant Colonel Hasse with a $250 gift certificate in appreciation for his service. Fans, please give a warm hero's welcome to Lieutenant Colonel Aaron Hasse and all of our nation's brave servicemen and women and their families. We thank you for your service and sacrifice. To nominate a military hero, visit Rockies.com/militaryhero. Fans, please rise as we honor our great country with the performance of God Bless America. Performing God Bless America today, representing the United States Air Force Academy Band, is Airman First Class Alex Sauce. Please welcome Airman Sauce and join him by singing along to God Bless America. Fans, remain on your feet for today's King Super 7th inning stretch. Sing along with Take Me Out to the Ball Game.
taking place at Salt River Fields at Talking Stick, January 28th through February 1st, 2019. Visit Rockies.com/fantasy camp for details. And Rockies are up 7-0 in this ball game, and part of the reason because of David Dahl back in the 5th inning with this blast to left field. Over 370 feet, 3-run home run. Davis' 16th home run, 48 RBIs on the season for David Dahl.
Well, he's got 15 RBIs his last 7 games. Is that any good?
Yeah. Well, in the month of September, too, now there's 27 RBIs.
1 ball, 1 strike. Austin Voth, second inning of work. And this ball is in the air to center field. Victor Robles makes the catch. And the Nationals have not pulled anybody out. I thought Bryce Harper may come out.
I thought Bryce, maybe Anthony Rendon.
Yeah,
After they both
two.
hit in the 7th.
Well, Rendon's scheduled to lead off, so. Rendon's scheduled to lead off. No, he's not. I'm losing my mind.
That's why it's giving the look like, what?
If Rendon leads off, folks, they have batted out of the border.
So then you
badly.
would wait. Then you would wait till he hit and see what happens. Then you'd go tell him.
Didn't really happen. 1-0 on Nolan. You know what, Nolan, the first 3 weeks of September, not Nolan-like. This week, much better. And today, he set the tone for this game. Remember, Charlie Blackmon led off with a triple after Tyler Anderson gave up 2 quick hits and then worked out of it. Charlie tripled. DJ grounded out, no advancement. David Dahl on a 3-2 pitch struck out, and you're going, oh man, the Rockies may leave Charlie at third base. Nolan said not a problem. Not only did he knock him in, he knocked himself in with a 2-run home run. And I think that truly loosened everybody up if they were tight. I don't know if they were, but it just got things going on the right foot, because at that point, the Giants were already up like 4-0.
Dodgers were up.
Excuse me, the Dodgers were already up like 4-0.
No, you're right. And I think in that dugout, no doubt, when Nolan hit that ball.
This ball may go out also. If it stays up, it will. Home run number 2 of the afternoon. And you have a new leader in the National League. 37 home runs for Nolan. His rightful spot atop the NL in that category.
We hit the first one of the day, and then he hits this one. There's the Nolan smile. He worked so hard there on part of that road trip. He put the weight of the team on his shoulder, and now he's back to swinging like we're so accustomed to seeing from Nolan.
8-0 Rockies. In your biggest games, you need your biggest players.
Well, you hear that in hockey all the time.
Best players got to be the best players on the ice come the playoffs.
You know, Yelich was trying for the Triple Crown. Now Nolan's taking that mark.
This ball is hit well to left center field, and it is gone as well. Back-to-back jacks. Trevor Story's got 36 trips around the bases. Boy, that thing just stayed in the air.
Well, Nolan at his 37. Trevor was sitting on 35. He's trying to catch him. He's got 36 now, so he's tied for second. But Trevor lined out twice to right field to Bryce Harper. He said, I'm not going back there. I'll go over the wall. Friday night, the Rockies went back-to-back with Ian Desmond and Chris Iannetta in this game. We've gone back to back. And now you can, okay, 9-0. Even at 6-0, you're feeling, or 7-0, you're feeling really good.
Especially after the Rockies and Anderson got through the middle of the order last inning.
Yes.
Because Washington, you know, they can score in a hurry. We know that. Cargo takes upstairs. The Rockies have now hit, folks, 18 home runs in their last 5 games. The major league record is 21 home runs in 5 games. You can hear it from the rafters in this sellout crowd. Beat LA.
That was cool.
That was a goosebump moment. There will be more. Nolan led the league in home runs in 2015 with 42, 2016 with 41. He was tied both years. Cargo strikes out. '15 tied with Bryce Harper. 2016 he was tied with Chris Carter. Bring up Ian Desmond with 2 outs. Pretty good left side of the infield right there, huh?
Yeah, and they're probably discussing how far each of these home runs went. So we'll find out on the Subaru StatCast. Nolan's didn't go very far, but it got out faster. Just a 21-degree launch angle. And Trevor's 425 feet, but that's not unusual. You think about Trevor and all the distance that his home runs have traveled this year.
He has the longest average home run in baseball this year. 421 feet, the average home run for Story. It's longer than Judge, longer than Stanton. One on Desmond. Remember the game Friday night? Rockies won 5-2. They had only 8 hits, but 4 were home runs.
Yeah.
Got 4 more home runs, excuse me, 5 home runs today of their 10 hits. And that's strike 3 on Desmond. Nolan and Trevor go back to back. We turn the page to inning number 8. The countdown to LA has begun. The Rockies lead 9-0. Take a good look. You won't see it for long. Story, he's going to make this play. Cut it out. Cut it out. This ball hit a long way to center field. Did he clip it? Ball game over. be heading to many more All-Star games. Just hit a home run, his 36th. He has more extra base hits than any other player in the National League. And the OPS, 906. Tyler Anderson, 7 shutout innings, low pitch count. Mark Reynolds at the plate. Ball cuts inside, ball 1 on Reynolds. A fly ball to left for Reynolds and a strikeout. 9-0 Colorado. They've out-hit Washington today 10-3. Again, this is a Nationals team that had 30 hits their first 2 games.
Yeah,
and their first 2 guys today had base hits, sharp ones.
Yeah, the 12 on Friday, 18 yesterday. They also left 9 guys on yesterday. They were 7 for 17 with runners in scoring position.
No swing. Two one on Reynolds. Outside 3-1. That's a strike. Ground foul. Again, I know it's a busy day for many of you. The Dodgers way up on the Giants 14-0. They beat them up early. Rockies up here 9-0. Tomorrow's game in Los Angeles, 2 p.m. Mountain Time. Walk to Reynolds. That'll bring up Adrian Sanchez. You think back at this on this game, Anderson gave up the sharp single to Robles and Turner in the first. Now Robles had gotten picked off, and then Turner had the base hit, and then Harper hit a smash right at DJ, and DJ began a 4-6-3 double play. The second inning began walk to Rendon, walk to Soto, and then Reynolds flew out, and then you had a soft liner off the bat of this man Sanchez. Right back at Tyler, caught it obviously, and then just flipped to first for the double play. And from that point on, he just dominated.
Yeah, and those were 2 big double plays. So that was Rockies have turned 3 double plays today. It gives them 161 on the season, but those first 2 were so important. Chris Russin now getting up in the Rockies bullpen.
The way tomorrow is going to work, folks, it's a baseball bonanza. Looks like the Cubs will host Milwaukee at 11:05 Mountain Time on ESPN. And then at the conclusion of that one, Rockies and Dodgers at Dodger Stadium. This is a base hit. At a little after 2 in the afternoon, again on ESPN. Catcher Spencer Keyboom coming up.
Where it's for you and I and everybody that works with the club and does these games every day. It's kind of a, oh man, we'd like to be there and do it, and it's nope.
Well, it's the postseason, and even though tomorrow's games are considered regular season games, it does flip to the postseason contractual obligations and deals that were made by Major League Baseball.
That's where I like what they do in hockey and basketball, at least the first round. Your local coverage can still cover.
Yeah, I mean, selfishly,
that's what I mean. I'd love to.
Certainly, we're going to be longing to have a microphone, hopefully over the next month, Things go as we all hope they go. But again, we'll have our purple pajamas on with all of you.
We'll get our pom-poms out and try to cheer them to victory.
Tyler can produce his third double play of the day. Wilmer Defoe is going to hit next in the pitcher spot.
I was kind of chuckling because I looked at when Tyler stepped off because he looked at Mark Reynolds. Mark threw up his hands like, "What, dude? I'm not going anywhere. Okay, I'm gonna stay right here till the ball's shown."
Right. I'm not pulling my hammy as I embark on vacation. 2 strikes. There have been 14 tiebreaker games all time in Major League Baseball. The last came in 2013. The American League wild card. The last spot was decided when Tampa beat Texas. Interestingly, the Dodgers have been involved 5 different times. Just missed. The last time it happened in the National League,
Yeah.
2007, when the Rockies took out Buddy Black's San Diego Padres.
Well, Buddy needs to even that record up then.
His personal record.
That's what I mean. It's personal record.
You know, prior to '69, they used a best out of 3 series to determine a tiebreaker in the National League. The American League always used a 1-game kind of sudden death deal. Swung on and missed. 1 out in the 8th.
The Rockies are currently taking deposits for the 2019 Suites and Party Facilities called 303 Rockies today. We got a pinch hitter for the pitcher. It'll be Wilmer Defoe.
This ball's lifted fairly deep right field, but plenty of room for Cargo, who'll make the catch. And Reynolds will carefully make his way to third. 2 outs. 2 outs, and that'll bring up Victor Robles. And Buddy is going to take the baseball from Anderson, and he's going to give him a big, big pat on the back. What a tremendous, gutsy, belly up to the bar performance by Tyler Anderson.
Give him a standing O.
Yeah. He's going to get a standing O from almost 48,000. He'll never forget this moment. Well done, Tyler. former #1 pick of the Rockies out of the University of Oregon. And I mean, Tyler watched the last 2 days. Washington hitting the baseball all over the yard. 12 runs, 18 hits yesterday. He knew what was at stake. He's talking about stepping forward. Wow.
Yes, he did.
Song Wan-Oh will be looking to get the final out here in the 8th inning. 1st and 3rd. Victor Robles coming up. It's a special group. The 2018 team as a whole is a very, very special group. And that starting rotation, young starting rotation, like the Rockies have never seen in their past.
One of those young guys are going to get the ball tomorrow in LA. Juan Marquez.
And the first pitch strike to Robles. Single, foul out, and no 2 pitch. He was clipped on the hand. Good block. You know, Robles from the Dominican and Juan Soto from the Dominican. Robles was not signed for a ton of money in the international pool. Soto was. He was well over $1 million. But Robles was really made good. Needs to be a fixture in Washington for quite some time. And Juan Soto, his abilities off the charts.
He's just a heck of a ball player.
That's a strike. 2-2. And it bears repeating. One of the best subtle moves made around the trade deadline in all of Major League Baseball was the Rockies' acquisition of Song Wan-Oh from Toronto. 2-2. And it's in the air to Cargo. And that's all for the Nats in the 8th inning. The Rockies within 3 outs. So heading to LA, they're up 9-0. AT Sportsnet is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. By Dish Network, better TV for all. And by StubHub. Rockies fans, get your tickets at StubHub, official partner of the Colorado Rockies. Rockies an inning away from their 91st victory. It'll be their second best 162 game run. They won 92 in 2009. They'll have an opportunity to win 92 tomorrow in Los Angeles. Tyler Anderson, splendid. Remember how good he was in June and July?
Yeah.
And then from mid-August through the first part of September, a really rough go for Anderson. His last outing at Dodger Stadium on the 19th was very solid. 6 innings, just 2 runs. Then he had to skip a start. And he came up today, took the baseball, and threw 7 2/3 shutout innings at one of the top lineups in baseball. Here's the 1-0 on Iannetta. That is line down the line. And Chris ought to get a double here.
For Tyler, he's earned his W too, because the last time he got a win was way back on July 4. So he's in line for that. And then Chris getting a double, getting part of the action today.
This is a good move for Buddy. Listen to this. Matt Holliday, even though he's got deep pockets, doesn't have to buy many meals in this town forever. And they're all standing for Matt as he was announced. And this is a terrific move for Buddy for 2 reasons. One, to show your appreciation, allow the crowd to show their appreciation. The other thing is you want to get him an AB, because Matt Holliday, you imagine, is going to be a big part of what the Rockies do going forward.
That's the biggest thing in all this, to get in that bat for him, because it's been a few days. Just one at bat this homestand prior to this one.
Iannetta at second, Kyle McGowan ready. And Iannetta will move to third. Three of the 4 key games today have turned into monumental blowouts. The Dodgers in the 9th inning ahead 15-0 in San Francisco. The Rockies perhaps on the verge of going up 10-0 here. All of a sudden it's 8-0 Milwaukee at Miller Park over Detroit. The one game that's still within reach is it's 8-4 now. Cubs over the Cardinals. 3-0 on Matt. Draws a walk. That'll bring up Blackman. Triple homer, single, and a strikeout. You know what he needs.
Yep. And it started with the home run, or excuse me, the triple to lead off the game, then the home run. Put the Rockies ahead at that time 4-0. Then the infield single where he uses his legs.
First and third, nobody out in the bottom of the 8th inning. Well, Cuevas running for Holliday. Down the line, here comes your double. Charlie Blackman. How do you like that?
The guys in the dugout are more excited than Charlie.
9th cycle all time for a Rocky. No shortage of standing O's today. Tapia is going to go get him.
This crowd erupt when he runs off the field.
Cargo knows of cycles. Nolan knows his cycles. This ball well hit to left. It'll get a run in. I thought for a moment it'd have a shot. Coming home is Cuevas with another Colorado Rockies run. Sac fly for DJ.
Let's go back to Charlie's double, which will be double number 31 on the year, to complete the cycle on a day that the Rockies knew that they had to go out and win. Charlie coming through. The guys in the dugout, though, even before all the hugs and high fives, they were erupted. They were out of the dugout, pumping their fist.
Here comes Beat LA again. There's a great, great love affair with the fans of this region and the Rockies every year, but in particular this 2018 version. And the crowd today, 47,833. They've sold out every game this weekend. It's the 13th sellout of the year, and the Rockies, for the first time since 2001, have got over 3 million fans to Coors Field. This ball is to left field toward the corner, and it's caught out there by Soto. 2 outs. Tapia back to second.
What a day to have on also Fan Appreciation Day at the ballpark.
Yeah, they're gonna spend some time, as players always do, on the final home game, that making their way around the ballpark to thank the fans. And you were fortunate enough, talented enough to play parts of 12 big league seasons, more than 10 years of service time, Spilly and Corey. And we hear it from players all the time. When you have the kind of backing that the fans give the Rockies, it's one of the reasons the Rockies are dominant at 20th and Blake.
No doubt about it, because they give you those energy jolts when you need it as a player, when you're going through kind of one of those moments where getting out of bed's difficult sometimes. Your body's beat up, you're dragging, but then you feed off the energy of the crowd. They help you get up for that game, because you know you don't want to disappoint them. You don't want to let them down. They spent their hard-earned money to come out and watch you play, and you want to try to reward them.
Nolan, 2 home runs today. Charlie got it going in the first with a triple. So as if to say, this is going to be our day. Nolan made sure. 3 doors down with the 2-out, 2-run home run. And the Rockies have run downhill since then, with the help of a splendid performance from Tyler Anderson.
I just hope that's not lost in all of this offensive output with the 11 runs and 12 hits. They needed somebody, because now it lines up your bullpen for the next 2 days. And hopefully just one day. That's hopefully, I mean, you go into LA, you beat it, you win it, and then you don't play till Thursday.
And it looks again like it'll be German Marquez against Walker Buehler. Buehler was scheduled to go today, and Dodgers made a late change. Decided late last night they were going to flip it up. They went with Rich Hill today.
So Herman.
They could have gone with Bobby Hilton, scoring as many runs as they have.
Herman Marquez out in LA in 3 games. He's 2-0 with a 189 ERA and a batting average against a 145.
Olin draws a walk.
I'll have a moment. I'll tell you that Rockies gift cards are a great gift for all Rockies fans. Gift cards can be redeemed for game tickets at Rockies dugout stores or for merchandise and concessions at Coors Field.
Nolan's going to come out. Brian McMahon's going to pinch run for him. He did his part, as he typically does. Story homered in his last at bat.
I love this. They just keep breaking out the chant, beat LA.
This ball line to left center. Tapia around third. He'll score. Another ribby for Story. Got 107 of those.
I think you might see a pinch runner for Trevor now.
You can see Garrett Hampson or Pat Baleka here. Beat LA, pure and simple. Here comes Hampson. Story, the 107 RBIs, new record for a shortstop with the Rockies. He shared the record at 105 with Tulo. Cargo, 1 for 4.
Just want to congratulate this team again too, because the run they had to go on just to get to this point with the 1-game 163 after LA going to Arizona, they're going to go 9-1. 9-1.
Think about a couple of sections of this season. At one point, the Rockies were 4 games under 500. They were 8 games back. The Dodgers also this year, I think, were 8.5 games back at one point. Actually, it was a full 9 games back for the Dodgers. You can see on the graphic there. And then they played that ridiculous stretch, 46 straight, trying to get healthy, but against 500 teams that were better than 500. Longest stretch in the history of the game, and they went 30-16.
I don't know how many times, I could count maybe 3 or 4 times, and now people were saying, oh, they're done. They're done.
Who didn't think, honestly, that, well, it's just not going to end well after the sweep in Los Angeles. Rockies had a day off Thursday in Arizona. They got their head right, and they said, we're fine. This has been the most resilient team. Boy, were they ever fine.
And the steady leadership, too, of Bud Black.
He never panics. Steady, same guy every day. The team has taken on the personality. So, Buddy, hired by Jeff Bridich and Dick Manfred 2 years ago in the offseason. For the first time in franchise history, the Rockies going to back-to-back postseasons. Manager of the Year back in 2010 with the Padres. He may win another one this year. He's deserving. Cargo goes down. The Rockies scored 3 more in the 8th. They lead at 12-0. They need 3 more outs before they embark on a journey to Los Angeles.
And this team and the great accomplishments, but now that they're going to be heading to Los Angeles, as it looks, game 163 on our minds, we must flash back to October 1st, 2007. I think you remember this day quite well here in Denver, Colorado. San Diego Padres and Colorado Rockies all tied up. Who was going to win to go get the wild card? Man, oh man, what are the memories?
It is an amazing memory. It is embedded in my mind. Seeing Matt laying there, knowing what we had just done, knowing the run we had been on, it seems very similar to what this Rockies team has done. We had to win 13 of 14. They now have won 9 of 10. Both will go down on October 1st. And I did mention to Matt's wife, Leslie, if he hits a home run to win game 163, I don't know what I'll do. I might fly to LA and tackle him there.
I bet you will. There's no doubt about that. Bud Black, by the way, on the other side of that one, he looks forward to participating in game 163 as a Rocky this time. Guys, we'll send it back to you, and we'll see you right after the game.
Trey Turner fouls off the first pitch. Hey, Corey, I'm confident in you doing a lot of things. You're a very talented guy. Tackling Matt Holliday is not one of them.
Well, I'm not going to run the risk of injuring him, so I can't go low. And with all the new tackling rules, I can't put my whole body weight on him. So I'll just try and basically, you know, knock him down. That's my whole goal.
You better bring friends. Well, Corey's right on the money. The Rockies are going to win 9 of their final 10. And we've been talking, all of us, on the air, off the air, what number it would take to win the division. And, you know, I thought, it sounds like I pat myself on the back here, but I thought it would be around 92 wins and you know, 91 in there. Those are the numbers that were thrown out 3-4 weeks ago. It was kind of a consensus with our group, and it's going to take 92.
Yeah, and that's what we talked about, even having dinner way back in February and March down in Scottsdale. Kind of thought that would be the number.
Russin just misses there. 2-2 on Trey Turner.
I know there's been a lot of planning going on the last 24 to 48 hours on all the different scenarios.
That's strike 3 on Turner, 1 out.
I think I speak for you, Drew. We need to give a great thank you to Paul Egan's for all the travel and all the help he does for us. Mike Ponarelli, Tiny, all those guys. Tyler Sanders.
Well, we have a great group that we work with on the Rocky side. And I reiterate what you said. Paul Egan's is the best traveling secretary in the business. Has been a Rocky since before they threw their first pitch in '93. We love you, Paul.
Yeah,
Thanks for everything.
Paul.
And I'm not talking to Paul today, because Paul has had to make like 18 different possible hotels and et cetera, for so many different people. But Paul takes great care of us. Tiny and Tyler in the clubhouse and their whole staff, Corey and the gang down there.
You know, the other group too, and Jill Campbell, all the PR people that we deal with every day. Jill Campbell, Warren Miller, Corey Little, Nick Parson, Abby Sanders. Thank you.
Lauren.
Lauren Jackarusa. Thank you so much. There's Abby and Nick. I mean, every day they make our life so much easier. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Yeah, they're important to all of you at home because they disseminate a lot of information that ultimately we pass along, or you read about with the various people that cover the Colorado Rockies. I want to say a big thank you. We thanked our staff. And I want to say a big thank you to you and to Spilly and to Corey and to Jenny and to Taylor, because I'm so fortunate to be able to do what I do, and I know you guys feel that way, but to be able to do it with all of you.
Well, right back at you. I think we've got a great group of people. We enjoy being able to come and tell the story each and every night. Thank you to the fans at home. Thank you, Spilly. There you go. But no, thank you to the fans at home too for turning in and watching the Rockies, from Dick and Jeff Bridie, to everybody. There's a lot of people who thank Dougie Marino, who sits by us every single stinking night.
Doug's the absolute best. That's a line down the line over the leaping Drew Butera into the corner, and the final at bat maybe in the Washington portion of the career of Bryce Harper. We'll find out. Right now it's a double. I would think Dave Martinez will go take him off the field. We'll see. Again, Mike Fox and Erica are two primary directors, and of course Tavis, who produces a number of games, and Allison Vigil, who does an extraordinary job producing as well. Allison's been in the truck all week, so she's been the good luck to our. We're going to let Tavis know that.
We can't forget Sam up here too, who shares this booth with us every single night. So Dougie, thank you. There's where a lot of the information comes from.
This is on the ground to short. Two outs as Rendon grounds out.
But again, Drew, thank you. Great 13 years. We just finished our 13th year together.
And we now finish each other's sentences on a regular basis.
Just about. Well, let's finish this one up and let the boys pack up and go to LA and win the division out there.
Nobody's left. Everybody's standing. And we've heard countless chants of beat LA. Again, that game will take place at approximately 2 Mountain Time tomorrow on ESPN. It's a final. The Dodgers shut out the Giants 15-0. Juan Soto a swing and a miss against Chris Russin. Milwaukee in the 8th inning leading 10-0 over Detroit, and it's the Cubs 10-4 over the Cardinals. What a baseball day tomorrow.
Get all your errands run early.
The game at Wrigley will take place at 11 Mountain Time. That looked pretty darn good. Hunter Wendelstedt, evidently Hunter wants a little more baseball today.
I guess.
That thing was right in the heart of the plate. Ground ball to third. McMahon to first. The Rockies have finished off their 91st victory. What an emphatic statement as they'll get ready to head to Los Angeles to decide the 2018 NL West champion. 12-0 Colorado. What a performance by Tyler Anderson. 7 2/3, just 4 hits. Eric Fetty takes the loss. We saw a cycle from Charlie Blackmon. We saw home runs galore. And the Rockies will get LA tomorrow at Dodger Stadium. What a season. Thank you very, very much for allowing us to be a part of it. We'll go to our center field set right now. Still plenty to do on the Toyota postgame show. It'll be a raucous one out there. Here's Jenny.
Drew, I think the fans are going to take this one to break because they know what's up. The Colorado Rockies heading off to Los Angeles, and they have one job tomorrow in game 163, and that's to beat LA. These guys have been awesome all season long. The Rockies are going to celebrate the fans, and we're going to celebrate this 2018 Rockies team coming up on the Toyota postgame.